Long was the way that fate them bore, o'er stony mountains cold and grey, through halls of iron and darkling's door, and woods of nightshade moorless. The sundering seas between them lay, and yet at last they met once more, and long ago they passed away, in the forest singing sorrowless. Strider sighed and paused before he spoke again. That is a song, he said, in the mode that is called Anthanath among the elves, but is hard to render in our common speech, and this is but a rough echo of it. It tells of the meeting of Beren, son of Barahir, and Luthien Tinuriel. Beren was a mortal man, but Luthien was a daughter of Thingol, a king of elves upon Middle Earth, when the world was young, and she was the fairest maiden that has ever been among all the children of this world. As the stars above the mist of the northern lands was her loveliness, and in her face was a shining light. In those days the great enemy of whom Sauron of Mordor was but a servant dwelt Agband in the north, and the elves of the west, coming back to Middle Earth, made war upon him to regain the Silmarils, which he had stolen. And the fathers of men aided the elves, but the enemy was victorious, and Barahir was slain. And Beren, escaping through great peril, came over the mountains of terror into the hidden kingdom of Thingol, in the forest of Neldareth. There he beheld Luthien, singing and dancing in a glade beside the enchanted river Escalduin, and he renamed her Tinuriel, that is, Nightingale, in the language of old. Many sorrows befell them afterwards, and they were parted along. Tinuriel rescued Beren from the dungeons of Sarn. You're getting a little history, obviously, right? And together they passed through great dangers and cast down even the great enemy from his throne, and took from his iron crown of the three Silmarils. Hence why Lord of the Rings is so hard to follow, because there's just so much stuff going on, so much world building, so much characters, so much land, so much history. Hence why Lord of the Rings I have to read like 5 times to fully grasp the story. Whereas Last of Us is a pretty complex plot, but it's a lot more easy to follow than Lord of the Rings. You have deep history in Last of Us too, but it's not as deep as Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is fucking crazy. Hence why the book is it's hard to follow. And three Silmarils, brightest of all jewels, to be the bride price of Luthiel to Thingol, her father. Yet at last Beren was slain by the wolf that came from the gates of Angband, and he died in the arms of Tinuriel. But she chose mortality and to die from the world, so that she might follow him. And his son, that they met again beyond the sundering seas, and after a brief time walking alive, once more in the green woods, together they passed long ago, beyond the confines of this world. So it is that Luthien Tinuriel, alone of the elf kindred, has died indeed, and left the world, and they have lost her whom they most loved. But from the lineage of the elf lords of old descends among men, they live still those of whom Luthien was the foremother, and it is said that her line shall never fail. Elrond of Rivendell is of that kin, for of Beren and Luthien was born Dior Thingol's heir, and of him Elwing the White from Arendil wedded, he that sailed his ship out of the midst of the worlds into the seas of heaven, with a Silmaril upon his bow. And of Arendil came the kings of Numenor, that is Westerners. As Strider was speaking, they watched his strange, eager face, dimly lit in the red glow of the wood fire. His eyes, 2 more pages here, pretty much 2 pages here, guys, I am done. You gotta bear with me. His eyes shone, and his voice was rich and deep. Above him was a black, starry sky. Suddenly a pale light appeared over the crown of Weathertop behind him. The waxy moon was climbing slowly above the hill that overshadowed them, and the stars above the hilltop faded. The story ended. The hobbits moved and stretched. "Look," said Merry, "the moon is rising. It must be getting late." The others looked up. Even as they did so, they saw on the top of the hill something small and dark against the glimmer of the moonrise. It was perhaps only a large stone or jutting rock shown up by the pale light. Sam and Merry got up and walked away from the fire. Frodo and Pippin remained seated in silence. Strider was watching the moonlight on the hill intently. All seemed quiet and still, but Frodo felt a cold dread creeping over his heart. Now that Strider was no longer speaking, he huddled closer to the fire. At that moment, Sam came running back from the edge of the dell. "I don't know what it is," he said, "but I suddenly felt afraid. I dursn't go outside this dell for any money. I felt that something was creeping up the slope." "Did you see anything?" asked Frodo, springing to his feet. "No, sir, I saw nothing, but I didn't stop to look." "I saw something," said Merry, "or thought I did, away westwards where the moonlight was falling on the flats beyond the shadow of the hilltops. I thought there were 2 or 3 black shapes. They seemed to be moving this way." "Keep close to the fire, with your faces outward," cried Strider. "Get some of the longer sticks ready in your hands." For a breathless time they sat there, silent and alert, with their backs turned to the wood fire, each gazing into the shadows that encircled them. Nothing happened. There was no sound or movement in the light. Frodo stirred, feeling that he must break the silence. He longed to shout aloud. "Hush," whispered Strider. "What's that?" gasped Pippin at the same moment. Over the lip, one more page here, guys, I am done. Over the lip of the little dell on the side, away from the hill, they felt, rather than saw, a shadow rise. One shadow, or more than one. They strained their eyes, and the shadows seemed to grow. Soon there could be no doubt. 3 or 4 tall black figures were standing there on the slope, looking down on them. So black were they that they seemed like black holes in the deep shade behind them. Frodo thought that he heard a faint hiss as of a venomous breath, and felt the piercing chill. Then the shape slowly advanced. Terror overcame Pippin and Merry, and they threw themselves flat on the ground. Sam shrank to Frodo's side. Frodo was hardly less terrified than his companions. He was quaking as if he was bitter cold. But his terror was swallowed up in his sudden temptation to put on the ring. The desire to do this laid hold of him, and he could think of nothing else. He did not forget the barrow, nor the message of Gandalf, but something seemed to be compelling him to disregard all warnings, and he longed to yield. Not with the hope of escape, or of doing anything, either good or bad. He simply felt that he must take the ring and put it on his finger. He could not speak. He felt Sam looking at him, as if he knew that his master was in some great trouble, but he could not turn towards him. He shut his eyes and struggled for a while, but resistance became unbearable. So now this is the part when Frodo gets stabbed by the what? They see the ring race, and Frodo gets stabbed by the poisonous blade, obviously. Resistance became unbearable, and last he slowly drew out the claim. He slipped the ring on the forefinger of his left hand. Immediately, though everything else remained as before, dim and dark, the shapes became terribly clear. He was able to see beneath their black wrappings, the black riders, right? There were 5 tall figures, 2 standing on the lip of the dell, 3 advancing, and their white faces burned keen and merciless eyes. Under their mantles there were long gray robes. Upon their gray hairs were helms of silver. In their haggard hands were swords of steel. Their eyes fell on them and pierced him as they rushed towards him. Desperate, he drew his own sword, and it seemed to him that flame was red, as if it was a firebrand. 2 of the figures halted. The third was taller than the others. Half a page, I'm done here, guys. His hair was long and gleaming, and on his helm was a crown. In one hand he held a long sword, in the other a knife. Both the knife and the hand that held it glowed with a pale light. He sprang forward and bore down on Frodo. At that moment Frodo threw himself forward on the ground, and he heard himself crying, "O Elbereth, Githonriel." At the same time he struck at the feet of his enemy. A shrill cry rang out in the night, and he felt the pain like a dart of poison ice pierce his left shoulder. This is when Frodo gets stabbed, obviously, just like in the movie, right? Even as he swooned, he caught, as though a swirling mist, a glimpse of Strider leaping out of the darkness with a flaming band of wood in either hand. With a last effort, Frodo, dropping his sword, slipped the ring from his finger and closed his right hand tight upon it. And that ends A Knife in the Dark, Chapter 11. I am now on the final chapter, guys, of Lord of the Rings, Book 1, and after that I am done. So Strider tells Frodo and the Hobbits a little history, obviously, and then he ends up believing in the ring race, end up surprising them, obviously, and they end up stabbing Frodo, obviously. That ends what? How long is A Flight to Four? A Flight to Four is how many pages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah. 23. So if I read 4 pages a day, I don't know. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. Yeah, so sometime around November 5th around there, I'll finish. I said November 3rd. No, sometime around November 5th, I'll finish my Lord. So around the time I finish going over my book, that'll be the same time I'll finish going over my Lord of the Rings read-along. Around November 5th around there, because Flight to Four is a long chapter. Around November 4th, November 5th, I'll finish November 4th around there. I should finish, because one day I can read like 6 pages. Right, so around November 4th, November 5th around there, I'll be finishing my Lord of the Rings Book 1 read-along. Today was the 31st. Tomorrow's November the 1st. So what? I'll be finishing my Lord of the Rings read-along soon. I only have one chapter left, which is chapter 12, A Flight to Ford. And after that, I am done Book 1. I am not reading any more Lord of the Rings. So all you Lord of the Rings fans, you're happy. I read you all of book 1, the prologue all the way to book 1, all the way to chapter 12. Hence when you guys are like, holy shit, I haven't read the whole book 1. Yes, I did. I read all of Lord of the Rings for you. And after I finish book 1, I am done. I'm not reading any more Lord of the Rings. I am done, obviously. I also have to finish my Return of the King. I took a little break. I still have a good 150 pages left of Return of the King to read. So it's a good chance while I pay this fee, I'll finish Lord of the Rings. While I pay the fee, I'll either be staying in a hotel or I'll be staying in the house. Obviously, if I'm in a hotel, I'll bring my Return of the King book and I'll read Lord of the Rings in my hotel. Obviously, finish the book. Obviously, and once I finish Lord of the Rings, I finish reading the whole book. I can officially say, yeah, I read all of Lord of the Rings. I read the whole book. You know what I'm saying? Because I watched the movies many times, but I've never read the books before. Hence why I bought the series. I wonder what the book is like. Hence why I bought the whole series. Obviously, I finished Fellowship of the Ring. Right, I read half of Fellowship. I read Fellowship of the Ring like almost 2.5 times now. I read Fellowship of the Ring grade 5. I read it again early this year, and I also read half of Fellowship of the Ring when I read to you my readalong, my Lord of the Rings readalong. So enough about Lord of the Rings. So Frodo pretty much what? Friar gives Frodo and the Hobbits a little history, obviously, history, obviously, and he ends up leaving, and the ring wraiths surprise them, and they end up stabbing Frodo, obviously. And now Frodo ends up meeting Glorfindel. They take the flight to Ford through the river, obviously, and that's where Frodo confronts the ring wraiths. He's injured, and he takes out a sword. He even confronts the ring wraiths. Whereas in the movie, they have Frodo be a wuss. The movie, they have Arwen take Frodo to Rivendell, whereas in the book, Glorfindel takes Frodo to Rivendell. Honestly. And you guys know, I finally get your point. There's a huge difference between the books and movies. Yes, there's a huge difference between books and movies. As Peter Jackson only followed like 20% of the book, man. Whereas I'm actually going to follow like 70% of the story of Lord of the Rings. I'm actually going to follow like 70% of the story of Lord of the Rings. And that way I'm going to follow 70% of the story of Last of Us. That way because if you drift away from the story, you can ruin the story. Hence why I'm gonna tell my tutors, hey man, let's follow the book. Let's not drift away. Like, we can add scenes, add dialogues to make it more interesting, obviously, make it more dramatic. Like, I'm gonna add scenes with Eretat, Tactius, Lithia, all those characters. Add scenes with the Eagles and Crows to make it more interesting. But don't drift away from the story. Follow the story. That way you don't ruin the story. Hence why I'm gonna follow like 70% of the story, 70, even 75% of the story. That way I don't ruin the story. Because for Last of Us, if you tamper with it too much, you can ruin the story. Hence why I don't. You need to follow. It's important that you follow the story, obviously. And you guys will finally see what I mean once I release my book for purchase on Lulu. I Save My Beautiful Wife. When you guys read my book, you guys will finally understand what I mean. Once you read my book, you're gonna be like, holy shit! Guaranteed, all you book nerds. When you buy my ebook or my print, you guys are gonna order beer and you're gonna sit in a Porsche, go to a park. You buy the print, you go to a park. You know what I'm saying? You're in your backyard. You're sitting on what? You're sitting on a porch, right? You know what I'm saying? You can have a nice glass of wine. You read my book. You order food. Guaranteed, a lot of you book nerds are going to be ordering takeout when you read my Last of Us Saints book. Because Last of Us Saints is a masterpiece. I'm going to do that. When I order my print, I'm going to go to the store, get beer. I'm going to order food. I don't know. I might order shawarma, McDonald's, get pizza or something like that. And I'm going to read my book, drink a beer, and I'm like, let's see how good my book is. I already know my book is a masterpiece. I read it, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm fucking hooked. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe I wrote this book. This book is a masterpiece. Not perfect, obviously. As all books have flaws, obviously, but Last of Us is the almost perfect book. You're looking at an amazing story, man. And my wife will be so shocked once she reads my book. VJ will most likely buy the ebook because VJ doesn't want to wait. Most people don't want to wait a week or so for the print. So a lot of people are just going to buy the ebooks. I'll just read on my laptop. VJ reads my book. VJ's like, holy sh... when you read my book, you're going to be hooked. You're going to read it. Guaranteed VJ will order takeout too. VJ might order food. She reads my book. Let's see how good Ivan's book is. You read the prologue. The prologue's pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Then you read Young Takis. It gets more interesting, obviously. And as soon as you read 22 years later, when Takis is an adult, the plot gets interesting, and you're hooked. Like, holy shit, this story's interesting. You keep reading. You finish volume 1 and you read volume 2. Volume 2 is even better. And you read volume 3. Volume 3 is even better, arguably, in my opinion. You can argue volume 2 is better, but in my opinion, volume 3 is better than volume 2. In my opinion, it's arguably better than volume 2. In my opinion. You'll see what I mean when you read my book, obviously. So it's not just I'm not making billions. The reason why I'm making my billions is because I have the keys and the son of God, obviously, and everyone bought my book. But I didn't just write some shitty book, no, man, to make money. No, I wrote a masterpiece. As Last of Us is a $1 billion story. If someone else wrote this book, they would be a billionaire. They'd be the next J.K. Rowling. They'd be bigger than J.K. Rowling. As Last of Us would beat out Harry Potter easily in sales if someone else wrote my book. Even if you traditionally published, you'd still be a billionaire. You'd make like $1 billion, $2 billion, $5 billion off the book, man. It's a worldwide. It's a story that would travel worldwide. It's a very unique story. You see what I'm saying? Huh? Yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna keep saying this. Well, you better fucking enjoy all these videos that I'm pumping out for you every day. You better fucking enjoy it because the countdown's ticking. You only have a good, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 days left to me on YouTube. It's like about 2 weeks left to me on YouTube. And after that, I am officially done. I'm not making more videos for you. And once I make that final announcement, I'll give it a good 2 days. Get beer and smokes. Get food and celebrate. Get beer and smokes. Celebrate, obviously. And I'm going to take those walks to the park. And after those 2 days, I'm going to bravely go upstairs. And I'm going to let my stepfamily know I am done my book. Hey guys, I am done my book. I finished my book. I want to get my books up. I want to get my books up published on Google. I sincerely need your help. See what I'm saying here? I sincerely need your help. I'm gonna keep telling them every day that way I get it through their heads. Because I know the step families lock the doors on me. They lock the doors on me. I'm not stupid. I know they lock the doors on me. Hence why I know the step families are going to what? The step families are going to. I need to let them know. Every day I'm going to constantly tell them, hey guys, I've done my book. I want to get my book self-published. I sincerely need your help. I need your help. Tell them sincerely that way, because they're the gatekeepers, obviously. And they'll eventually, okay, Ivan's done his book. He needs our help. He wants to get the book self-published. Yes, I need your help because they're the gatekeepers, obviously. Because I know they know they lock the doors on me. They can act all they want, but they know they lock the doors on me. Hence why you have to sincerely tell them, hey guys, I sincerely need your help. You know what I'm saying? I want to get my book self-published on Lulu. I sincerely need your help, obviously. And until they sit me upstairs, I'm going to continue to take those walks to the park, have a smoke, listen to music, look at the stars for a good hour. And eventually, within a couple days or a good week or two, they're going to sit me upstairs. They're like, Ivan, come upstairs, we want to talk to you. And the moment they say that, I'm gonna, oh my God, the time has come. My heart will be pounding and beating. VJ will be like, Ivan, be brave, you know what I'm saying? VJ will be listening, It's because VJ's connected to me, she'll be listening in, you know what I'm saying? VJ will be like, Ivan, be brave, you know what I'm saying? Be brave, Ivan. As I told you, I sold out, and VJ and me, sure, VJ and me would most likely have an argument. VJ would be pissed at me. Ivan, you're a fucking dick. How can you be so fucking stupid? All you had to do was die, and you would have had me all fresh yourself. I would have seen you. You would have had our freedom. We would have been billionaires. We you know what I'm saying? Now we're dirty states in Hollywood. VJ would be so mad at me if I sold out, man. She'd be pissed at me. Guaranteed me and her would have an argument. And the relationship would most likely end. Obviously. Here's the thing though, man. Even though the relationship would end, I can't do without VJ, man. If I broke out with VJ, I would want to come back to her. That's the thing though. But because the world's wicked, they want me and her to share. Because they're fucking crazy people, obviously. You see what I'm saying here? Let's see. Hence why you guys, we know I and VJ can't do without each other. But we all want them so badly, you know what I'm saying? Let's have them share. But you know the relationship won't work. Hence what? But I'm telling you, even if I broke out with VJ, I would constantly be thinking about I would want to come back to her. That's the thing though. That's why you guys set the whole thing up. Yeah, we know if I and VJ share, the relationship will most likely will destroy the relationship. The relationship will most likely not work. As there's nothing worse than me being in a relationship with my son. I know my wife's hooking up another match, a shitty feeling. But you guys don't see it because you guys are reprobate people. You're nothing but a mess. I don't know. I hear my wife, I fucked this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like how you guys somehow think the relation will work because you guys are mentally psychotic, crazy people. You want to do whatever you can to destroy me and wife's relationship because you're wicked people, obviously. You're nothing but a mess and white made, man. Oh, the Steph Family's calling and says, hey, Ivan, we want to talk to you, you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, fuck, man, the time has come. You know what I'm saying? The time has come, you know what I'm saying? And I remember that passage in the Bible when Jesus says, whatever you want to do to me, do it quickly. It says Satan entered Jews. The symbolism of that is, look, once I make that final announcement and the stepfamily is sitting upstairs, the world's true demonic nature will come out. And my stepfamily's true demonic nature will come out. Final to the gatekeepers. You guys are going to trap this innocent man with sharing with his wife forever. Either he sells, he's a dirty slave, him and his wife are dirty slaves. They share with the entire world forever. Think about it. You want me and Vijay to share forever for the rest of our lives because you guys are crazy psychopaths, obviously. You're nothing but a mess who I've made. or you die to get a fresh one yourself from ask someone for you. And I'm choosing death. I am not going to do like that. No way am I going to do like that. As I want VJ all to myself, fresh. I don't want a trashy VJ, and I don't want to share with the rest of the world. As I'd rather be single than have a trashy wife and share for the rest of my life. I'm not kidding around. I'd rather be single than have a trashy wife and share for the rest of my life. I'd rather be single and be king on my own. But because I love my wife, I am obviously going to save her, obviously. Because I love her so much, and I can't do without her. And I also know VJ is the only woman that's meant for me, as all these women are all trash. When they have sex with me, my spirit runs away because they're not meant for me, obviously. Me and VJ are immortal beings. We're only meant for each other. Because we're immortal beings, obviously. We're God. We're immortal beings. We're only meant for each other, whereas you guys are not meant for us. You're meant for each other. We're meant for... Just so you guys are meant for each other, me and my wife are only meant for each other. Because you guys are blind by your envy, you don't see. You want both of us. You guys are crazy psychopaths. That's why you want me here to share. Because you're crazy psychopaths, obviously. Oh, they sit me down. They sit me down. The stepfamilies guaranteed will be nice to me at first. Obviously, they're gonna be nice and polite. They're gonna be very, very nice to me. Obviously, the stepfamilies are gonna be very, very nice to me. Obviously, at first, when I sit down, but eventually, their true nature, they know. Okay, because they don't want me being with my wife. That's what this whole game is about. They don't want. Yeah, we don't want Ivan being with his wife. At the same time, we don't want Ivan having financial control. We don't want Ivan to be king queen. We want them to be under us. We want them to be dirty slaves, obviously, even though they know we're God and we created the universe. Because they're fucking reprobate people. Right? Because they're fucking reprobate people, obviously. So they sit me upstairs. At first, they're very polite. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Ivan, you finished your book. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And eventually, their true nature is going to come out. You're going to see my stepbrothers, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck. You're going to see them all, like, angry and mad because they don't want to be like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Okay, Ivan, you have to sell. You have to sell to us and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not fucking selling to you, you know what I'm saying? I know selling is a trap. I'm not fucking stupid, you know what I'm saying? You know, like, do you know who you are? You think you can fuck with my money and all that stuff? You know who we are? We're the gatekeepers. We own everything in this world. We own Hollywood. We own all the big sport leagues. You know what I'm saying? We own the whole author world. They own the author world too. They own everything, man. They own Lulu. They own everything. Amazon, everything. Well, I mean, own, they control the finances. That's what I mean. Like, yeah, these companies have CEOs, they own their own company, but the gatekeepers are ultimately controlling everything around the world. And my guess is the gatekeepers take, I don't know, like 2%. They take a small percentage of all the money made around the world. That's why they're so rich. They have their own private bank. Have you guys ever heard of the Federal Reserve? The symbolism of the Federal Reserve, you guys know, VJ knows what I'm talking about, the Federal Reserve, right? The private bankers. It's a symbolism of the gatekeepers. The gatekeepers have their own private bank. They're fucking loaded, man. They're worth 500 billion plus, and they have at least 150, 200 billion dollars in the bank around there. They're fucking rich, man. They're rich people, obviously. And they don't want me touching their money. They don't want me and VJ being king, queen. They don't want us being billionaires. They don't want us touching their money. That's why they're true. The main reason their true nature will come out is because they don't want me being my wife. That's the main reason. Because you guys are fucking crazy people. And the second reason is they don't want me what? They don't want me and VJ. They don't want me and VJ to be king, queen. They don't want us to have financial control, obviously. Because the gatekeepers own everything around the world, they don't want me and VJ to have financial control. Because all these successful people around the world, they all have to sell to a gatekeeper to open the doors, obviously, to open the door for them. Whereas Ivan, because he has his own keys, he doesn't have to sell to any gatekeeper. They don't want me having financial control. That's why their true nature is going to come out. They're like, Ivan, you have to sell. You know what I'm saying? Ivan, if you sell, we're gonna make you and VJ will be stars in Hollywood. That's exactly what they told my wife. They duped her. I'm not gonna do it like that, obviously. I know if I sold out, they would win the game. They would dupe me and my wife. I'm not gonna do it like that. Obviously. Ivan, you have to sell. If you sell, you and VJ you and your wife, you get to be with your wife, Ivan. But what they won't tell me is I know I'll get a trashy wife. I'm not fucking stupid. I know VJ's trash. But you have to share with both families, and you have to share with the whole world. Because when I mean share, they also mean the family members too. Members of my family are going to have sex with VJ when me and her are in a relationship. And members of VJ's family will be having sex with me when me and her together, because the world's fucking crazy. They're crazy. You guys are crazy psychopaths. Yeah, Ivan, you're going to have to share with all the women and men in Hollywood. You're going to have to share with all the average people around the world forever for the rest of your life. And you and VJ, you'll be in the public eye. You'll be famous. You know what I'm saying? Guaranteed our careers will be sabotaged. And even if our careers weren't sabotaged, it's nothing compared to how much money we make if me and VJ start Sky System for free. And it's nothing, and at the same time, me and VJ are dirty slaves, we're not free. And it's nothing worse than knowing that you're owned by someone else. It is a shitty feeling knowing that you're owned by someone else. As being free and rich is the best feeling you can ever have, obviously. As in Hollywood, you're not free, you're a dirty slave. As me and VJ will be dirty slaves. and the Hollywood companies would own us. The only cool thing about me selling is that you'll see me and Vijay in the public eye, obviously. People will talk about me in the public eye. They talk about Vijay in the public eye. But me and Vijay are not king and queen. We're dirty slaves. We're sabotaging Hollywood. And we're sharing with the entire world. And I get a trashy wife. Vijay sees hell. The relationship won't work. Because you guys thought you can dupe me. And that's why you guys are so pissed off. Like, man, I haven't figured out the whole puzzle of the game. Yes, I figured out the whole puzzle of the game. I know if I sold out, I get a trashy wife. I get trash leftovers. As all those men already got a nice piece of that. And so Ivan O'Meara is getting trash leftovers. In other words, if me and Vijay share with the world, I'm getting a small piece of Vijay, and Vijay is getting a small piece of Ivan because me and Vijay are constantly having sex with so many men and women. And this relationship will destroy the relationship, and the relationship won't work. Obviously, as it's a crushing thought knowing that your wife is fucking another man. It's a crushing thought knowing that your husband's fucking another woman. It's a crushing thought because you guys are reprobate and you're blind by envy. You don't see your wickedness. You're reprobate people, obviously. You want me here to share because you're crazy people. You're crazy psychopaths, obviously. You're nothing but a mess some way I've made, obviously. And you say, okay, if you don't sell, you think you fuck my money on stuff. We own everything in this world. I'm like, yeah, you may own the whole financial system in the world. I'm running the whole universe. Me and Vijay are running the whole universe. We are the rightful king and queen, not you. You're the king. Yeah, you're the king because you're the king and queens of the world, obviously. But me and Vijay are the true kings and queens because we're the creators of the universe, not you. You may own the whole financial system in the world, but me and Vijay created the whole universe. Hence, we are the true king and queen, not you. And you're not worth my royalties. Yeah, you're big and you own the financial system in the world, but you're not as big as me. I'm bigger than you. I'm the son of God. That's why no one around the world is worth my royalties. And Vijay is the spirit of God. Vijay is a true queen, not you. You're not the true queen. I'm going to tell them that. I'm going to be bold, you know what I'm saying? Even though I know it's going to be scary, I'm going to be bold. I'm not fucking selling to you, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell them, I know selling is a trap. I know if I sell it, I get a trashy wife. I'm going to tell them, you know what I'm saying? You may think you have control of a relationship, but you don't. She is not your wife, and I'm not your husband. The only reason why you think you have control of a relationship is all because of your stupid devil at me. Because you guys are crazy psychopaths. You're nothing but a mess of a wife made. I'm going to tell them that. They're all holy shit. Ivan's brave. When you see me talking to the gatekeepers like that, all you people are gonna be holy shit. Ivan's fucking brave. He's standing up to the gatekeepers. As no one in this planet would fuck with the gatekeepers. As the gatekeepers can what? They can end your life. The gatekeepers they own the courts, the police. They own all that, man. They can easily pay off police, pay off the judges. They're so powerful. They're so fucking powerful. When I got thrown in the hospital, I remember when I went to the court. Obviously, I pleaded my case. I gave a good case. You know what I'm saying? And you can tell the judge had that shitty look on his face. Oh my god, the gatekeepers paid him off. Yeah, the gatekeepers are so powerful. They own everything in the world, man. They're powerful people. And right, okay, Ivan. If you want to be free, if you want to have financial control, if you want to fresh all to yourself, you have to die for that. You have to die for it, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, what the fuck? We own your wife. She sold out to us. We own her. For you to buy her back, you have to die for it. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, holy shit. And I don't know, I hear my stepmother, if you want your wife all fresh to yourself, you have to have sex with me. You have to do it. I'm like, okay, again, who in God's name on earth gave you the supposed prerogative or right to think you have control over my relationship when she's not even your wife and I'm not your husband? No one, Ivan. We're just envy. So because of your devil envy nature, you somehow think you have control of a relationship when you don't. Because you're what? You're a crazy psychopath. You're nothing but a mess who have made. You do not, I'm going to keep saying this, you do not have control over my relationship. You just think you do. You may separate me from her. You may cause this match. You may try and ensure her death. You may think you have a control relationship, but you don't. The only reason why you think you have a control relationship is because you're crazy psychopaths. Because you're devil envy, you somehow think you have a control relationship when you don't. As no one gave you that right. She is not your wife and I'm not your husband. And you're not fucking God. Because you guys are crazy people, you somehow think you have control over my relationship, obviously. If you don't sell, you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay with your life. You're gonna suffer the consequences. You're gonna pay with your life. And even then, I'm like, look, man, you can start me with death. I am God's son. I have power over death because I am God's beloved son. If I die, my Father will resurrect me from the dead, and I'll come back to life and new man. As I am not going to do with that. I'd rather be in that room, even though I know it's scary to die. I'd rather be in that room 1 minute later. All I have to do is wake up 1 minute later. I get it over with, and I get a fresh wife all to myself. Me and Vijay can get the glowing beauty. As me and Vijay sold out, me and Vijay would not get the glowing beauty, and we would age. And I don't want a 56-year-old Vijay. I want a young Vijay smoking hot forever with glowing beauty. Obviously. The only way me and Vijay can get the glowing beauty and stay young forever is if we're both fresh. The reason why we don't get the glowing beauty if we're trash is because it's incompatible with our nature. Because we're both trash and our spirits are holy, we're now incompatible with each other. That's why we don't get the glowing beauty and we won't stay young forever. That's why I'm not going to do it like that. I am choosing death. I'm not going to do it like that. Obviously, I'm brave and I choose. I'm brave. I'll choose to die for my wife. And the gatekeeper is okay, man. You made your choice. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna suffer for this. I'm saying because the gatekeeper, you're looking at something scary like the mafia. You know what I'm saying? And the moment I find out how rich they are, it's finally gonna dawn on me. I'm gonna remember all the moments when I lived in that shitty apartment in Montreal. When I mean shitty apartment for poor people. I'm gonna remember the time when we lived in that shitty apartment in Hull. I'm gonna remember the time when I lived in that shitty apartment in Hull. I'm gonna remember those moments, man. I'm gonna remember when we moved into this middle class. Yeah, this is a nice neighborhood, but I remember the time when we drove those shitty cars, that rusted van, that rusted car. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna remember all those moments. It's finally gonna dawn on me. I'm like, oh my god, I got played, man. These guys are the gatekeepers. They are multi-billionaires. They own Hollywood. So all my life, when I grew up watching all these Hollywood celebrities, watching all these Hollywood actors, my family are more rich than all these people, and they're more powerful than all these people. Hence why I'm gonna be so shocked, obviously. Hence why Ivan and Vijay, once they pay this fee, they're guaranteed gonna peace out, obviously. And Vijay will be so shocked. Everything that happened in Vijay's life will finally dawn on Vijay. Oh my god, when I was young and I wanted to be an actor, my stepfamilies were the gatekeepers. They owned everything. You know what I'm saying? They own Hollywood. Vijay's family owns Hollywood, obviously. They could have easily opened the door for me. I could have done big budget movies. If they sabotaged my career and had me do shitty indie movies, they forced me to be a porn star. They had me be a porn star to pay the bills in the house. But in reality, they only wanted me to be a porn star to cause my Ivan's life. She's gonna figure it all out. Yeah, man. Hence why, guaranteed, as once the stepfamily sit me upstairs and their true nature comes out, and I choose death, I'm not gonna do like that. I cry my eyes out. VJ's stepfamily's true nature will come out too because they're both a part of this. And guaranteed, I'm making a prediction, VJ will guarantee have that argument with her family. It's finally gonna hit VJ's mind. Okay, so this whole time you're this rich and you kept me poor, sabotaging Hollywood. You had me be a porn, so you had me pay the bills in the house. We can easily pay the bills in the house, and you had me be a porn star to cause Ivan's life. Yes, VJ's gonna figure everything out. Hence why once I pay this fee, VJ is running the fuck away with me. She's leaving everything behind. She's abandoning her family and she's running away with me. It should be me and her together, son. And me and her are running away together, obviously. As all we need is each other, obviously. All me and VJ need is each other as we are inseparable. We are lovebirds. This has been crazy. I'm going to shut my camera off here.